every social media company dreams to have their own verb that the world uses specifically to announce actions specific to these platforms, like, hey, Google it, or hey, code retweet it. And it's kind of weird to see Elon just throw it away, just like that, to turn it into something that sounds so corporatishly soulless, like an X. The only reason X won't fail would be the strong foundations that Twitter laid that will probably overlive Twitter and transcend into X, and not because X was inherently a genius idea. So yeah, I guess it's more of a time will tell thing.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that they're throwing away this whole name. It's lightning in a bottle, and they're throwing away lightning in a bottle. At the same time, it's hard for them not to do that on some sort of a name change, because the idea of X is that it's the everything app, and Twitter doesn't really signify the everything app. Although perhaps they could have done a rebrand, but I think Elon was just so set on X because that X started so many years ago for him.
I'm with you that the current set of financial services and tools is awfully undifferentiated and not very exciting. If Elon wants to propel X.com into the future, he's going to have to do it on the back of crypto, and he's going to have to get creative. What worries me about that strategy is I believe he's on record saying he wants to get public soon or in the not too distant future. And any neo financial product backed by crypto is likely going to take lots of time to both get product market fit and to just sort of make sense. I mean, these things don't appear overnight. Bitcoin is 13 years old. So give this some time. And if he wants to be patient and take the long approach to this and think about things like peer-to-peer lending and potentially a new form of credit or a new credit reporting system, I think he could pull it off, but my sense is it would be on the timeline of closer to 5 years, not 1 year.
Pienso que Twitter ha sido la referencia de red social durante mucho tiempo, pero que ahora protocolos como Lens o Farcaster van a ser esas referencias para las antiguas redes sociales, ya que su modelo descentralizado y open source permite que otras personas, otros desarrolladores y constructores creen y desarrollen encima otras ideas que aporten más valor a esas redes, a esos protocolos y a esas redes sociales. Creo que en los siguientes años vamos a ver una tendencia en que unos creen esa super app, esa super aplicación donde todo lo vaya integrando, pero también vamos a ver una tendencia donde unas aplicaciones se construyan encima de otras por parte de diferentes equipos descentralizados. Y veremos, como siempre, qué ocurre en el futuro y quién llevaba la razón.
The problem with transactional freedom is that it is highly regulated, and by being unlike free speech, which is constitutionally unregulated. And so I don't know how far he's going to be able to go and how open he's going to be able to make it, because you're still going to have to deal with OFAC and FinCEN and the SEC. And so he's going to run up against some pretty big bosses that don't exist because the Constitution, the First Amendment, has eliminated them.
I agree with that. I think going public would raise a whole host of challenges. And I think one of the big challenges that he has is going to be leadership, because I question Linda Yaccarino's credibility in being able to execute this kind of strategy and transition such a business and such a brand into something potentially so completely different. You know, she's great as CEO of a social media platform, but when you're talking about an everything app with financial services and everything else, not only that, it's effectively, it's transitioning, it's changing a business model. I think people would believe he is capable of pulling it off. But if he's not captain of the ship, and if he isn't the CEO, he's going to have to put a really impressive team together. And who knows, maybe he will end up being drawn back into it. Maybe X means that much to him that he will end up getting back into the fray.
I assume that anyone Elon puts in charge of Twitter is simply a figurehead, unless that person can push back and bring their own vision, which I don't think is what he wants.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. Or he may restructure the organization, and Twitter, the social media platform, becomes a division within X, and she remains CEO of that division while most likely he is CEO of the group. I'm thinking specifically if he goes public, the organization structure leadership team is going to have to be clearly defined, and the CEO is the person whom investors are going to be asked to put their faith and money behind. So he's going to have to provide some clarity on exactly what his role will be.
The future of consumer has to be individuals sharing in the upside of the networks in which they participate. The future of consumer, I know it's a bit discredited as a term, but is Web3. Naval, you've described it as this decentralized creator economy. I think of it as individuals participating and sharing in the upside of startup societies, communities that then build products that then have a wider reach and grow. But I don't think this idea of monetizing eyeballs or people trading their time for VCs marking up rounds is the future of consumer. It's got to be individuals getting some kind of upside and value for their contributions to the projects, networks, platforms that they help establish. What do you think? One thing that Bitcoin does is give a censorship resistant backend that makes it easy for peer-to-peer exchange of minor to major currencies. That, in my experience, is the consistently dominant non-speculative use of Bitcoin. And I've seen it in my own startups, AirTM, the Air protocol, where those startups wouldn't be possible in countries with authoritarian regimes that restrict people's ability to move wealth or save money or use financial services, requiring people to use the broken money and the broken financial services and rigged exchange rates via currency and capital controls. And you see this in Venezuela, Argentina, throughout the developing world. And so Bitcoin truly is freedom in the sense that when you hold it, you own it. When you want to send it to somebody, nobody can stop you. It reduces uncertainty and risk, which is cost. And in places like Cuba, Venezuela, Argentina, anywhere with currency and capital controls, you have the phenomenon of Bitcoin being a way to jailbreak people's money via peer-to-peer exchange from broken financial systems and debased fiat currencies. I think that the only way that Elon pulls off something that is orthogonal to the wishes of the establishment in the U.S. Is by decentralizing Twitter entirely, which doesn't seem like it's in the near-term plan. So I'm curious whether he's going to be able to maintain freedom of transaction outside of the strictures of regulation.
The problem when we start talking about the future, when it comes down to money, we're actually looking